Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome back to Planet Zoo and Wildlife World. And today we're kind of working on basically just a lot of detailing. First, we have a reindeer habitat now, and we actually have all 4 Arctic animals that are in the Arctic DLC. But right here, this is our reindeer habitat, and I wanted it to be sort of unique and not just be like, I didn't just want where the guests go to be like kind of right up to the main path and they just kind of look in. I wanted it to feel a little bit more like the guests are going into the habitat. Similar idea to what we did with the Indian rhinoceros over in the Heart of Asia section. So you can see here a little bit, like this is a bridge, and it bridges over the habitat, then it goes back down inside, and then the actual like viewing area for the reindeer habitat is like right in the middle of the habitat, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know, it's a little unique and it's a little different, I feel like. And because this is like the Arctic, area of the zoo, I wanted to go pretty heavy with the Arctic theme and like using the new Arctic building pieces. I still like to mix in other, building themes and whatnot, but really, going heavy on the Arctic theme just because it is the DLC and we want to focus on that as well. But the cool thing about the reindeer is if you know the game by now, a lot of the animal species, they have plant coverage restrictions or requirements, however you want to look at it. The reindeer actually don't have any. You can just load up the habitat with as many plants and whatnot that you like. So I decided to take advantage of that and just really put a lot of like foliage and trees and all that stuff, and actually doing things like putting vines on the actual habitat walls, the barriers, just to really kind of bring home that, sort of nature vibe. So like I said, the path bridges up over the habitat, goes down, and then it kind of wraps around, bridges back up to go back out of the habitat. So that's what this bridge is. It's sort of the exit, if you will. Not that the guests actually do like you can't do like an actual entrance exit kind of thing in the game. I wish you could use like signs, like kind of back in the roller coaster Tycoon days, where you could have like a no entry sign. That way you could keep your guests from going a way that you didn't want them to go. But we can't do that, so we just have to go with what we have. And then here, so we needed some shops and things in our Arctic area because we didn't have anything yet. So this is I put a chief beef in there, and then I think I put a gulpy. I can't remember if it's a gulpy soda or it might be a gulpy energy, but either way, that doesn't really matter too much. Again, going with the kind of heavy on the Arctic theme, and we had this kind of weird spot here in between 2 habitats, the Arctic wolf and the polar bear. And so I was like, well, this would be a pretty good spot to do like a really it's a pretty big building, I would say. It's not, or maybe it's like medium size, I don't know. But I wanted it to be different. I also wanted it to be raised a little bit. So that's why you can actually see it's actually raised up off the ground. But I actually, we fill it in with rocks like you can see here, and plants and foliage, and, making it look more natural. Obviously, we don't want it to look like it's just floating, but that's pretty much it. There's, this is really just a lot of detailing. Usually I would like to do, like in the time lapse, I would like to have like work on an actual habitat, but during the, most recent stream, as of the time that I'm recording this anyway, we added all 4 Arctic animals. So there wasn't any like habitat building to be done, but there's still a lot of detail that needs to be done. And here, this is just a facade building. I wanted it to sort of have that kind of Arctic alpine kind of look, something you'd maybe see out in, I don't know, like like some mountainous area, sort of that kind of lodge look to it. But this is just a facade, and I think for the sign I just put like clothing, so it's a cold area, so maybe you'd go and you'd get yourself like a nice warm jacket or whatever. But that's what we have here, and you know, when we get into the real-time gameplay, we'll obviously take a look at everything, and it's mostly done. This building itself is done, but there's still a lot of detailing, still a lot of trees and plants that we need to work on. The polar bear habitat, which you can kind of see in the background there a little bit. The viewing area needs a lot of work there as well. But yeah, I mean, I think this does it for the time lapse. So let's jump into the real-time gameplay and take a look at everything that we have so far. Okay, and here we are, and if you watched the last episode, this is going to look completely different because the last episode we had, we started building a polar bear habitat, and it was before originally when the DLC came out, the polar bears required 12,000 meters of habitat space. Well, there was an update that came out right after I recorded that episode, and they reduced it by half. So we have done a lot here. Like I said, we have all 4 Arctic animals in their habitats. And so over here, we have the Arctic wolf, and you can see we have guy here, and we have another cool little like natural bridge. I wanted to do something similar to like what we did with the timber wolf habitat, and we actually have baby wolf cub, which is awesome. And you can see like even the keepers walk over this. I think because of the way that I actually designed this, they can't actually walk over. I mean, the animals can because they can swim, but they typically walk over the bridge, which I think is actually pretty cool. I like making use of the fact that the animals can climb up certain terrain, you know, inclines and everything. And then, you know, kind of just, we use like some of these like pieces here are part of the Arctic pack. They're new, just trying to do something a little different for their shelter, which I think turned out really cool. And something that I've been doing lately with a lot of our habitats is having these like little offshoots from the main path. So anyone who comes here to watch like the Arctic wolf, they aren't clogging up the main path. And that sort of stemmed from, I'm sure, you know, if you've kept up with this series, that stemmed from this here, where people like to watch this habitat a lot, which I get, and they just completely clog up the main path, and it just, yeah. So that's why I've been doing these sort of like little offshoot areas. So like here we have it with the Arctic wolf, and I wanted to make like a cool sort of like entrance area. So we have like the nice little signage there. We have like the little Arctic wolf statues up on like the little rock ledge there. And then here is our reindeer habitat, and it's not done yet either, or at least like the front right here. But you can see, so like here's the bridge, what I was talking about. The path comes over here, bridges up over, then it comes back down, and then the guests actually stand here, and they're right in the middle of the habitat, which I think is pretty cool. So you can see like there's reindeer there. Here's a reindeer over here. Look at those guys. They're so cool looking. We actually have a reindeer baby in here. Let's see, where is he at? I just saw him a second ago. There he is. Hey, we got a little baby reindeer. Look how cute he is. Aww. But so you can see like there's the bridge. It goes up over that way, and then the path comes around and bridges up and goes back down over here. And then here we have the doll sheep, and I didn't do like the little offshoot here because I figured like I don't think it's gonna be a super popular animal with the guests, but you never know. I think it'll be okay for now, so they can just stand here, they watch the sheep, which they're pretty cool too. I like them. And then here's the shop building that we were working on towards the end of the time lapse. So you can see we have like a chief beef there. we have a... Oh, we put a street fox, that's right. I was thinking I put a gulpy there, but I remember now I went with the street fox coffee because, you know, it's like a cold area and, you know, you'd want a warm cup of coffee to, you know, warm your bones. But I think this turned out really cool. I like how it looks. I like how it's sort of raised up a little bit. And I meant to, and I forgot to do it, put some like picnic benches here so people can actually kind of sit and enjoy their food. So actually, let's put some picnic benches there now. While we're working on it, right? Is there? Oh yeah, there's new Arctic benches. I thought there were. So we'll just place a couple of these guys around. Like one there, maybe there. We'll do like 2 in the middle. There. So this way people, you know, are getting their coffee or their chief beef burger. They can come here and sit and chill. And I think this is just like a really nice little area. I think it's very scenic looking. You guys let me know what you think. I think it's cool. And then last but not least, so this is the new polar bear habitat. So if you watched the last episode, it's much different. It's much smaller, but I kept the same idea. So we have the big old viewing area here, and then the guests can actually come down and they can see the underwater viewing, which is super cool. And the polar bears, they swim an awful lot. We even have a polar bear cub. Look at that guy. Look at those paws. Aw. Doesn't it just make you want to like cuddle up with them? Even though they would probably maul you to death. But yeah, so this is our polar bear habitat now. And it's pretty bare. Bare, get it? It's pretty empty as far as like plants go because they don't like a whole lot of coverage. So we just went with some like basic stuff there, and then for the most part it's just flat. Has lots of snow, and we also did the like little viewing area into their shelter, so you know, guests, if they want to, they can stand here and just kind of watch the polar bears as they relax. I may actually move the hay beds a little closer to the window here. I don't know, we'll see. But that's pretty much it. I wanted to give you guys, you know, wanted to give you guys a nice overview of the Arctic area so far, which is called Alpine Cove. And I think it's turning out really cool. Like I said, at this point, it's just really focusing on details. Like this little corner needs some detailing, and obviously the polar bear area here needs a lot of work. I'm thinking this is actually going to be an indoor viewing area, so we're probably going to build a building here, which I think will be really cool. Then we need a little bit of detailing here. We need some backstage detailing there and more over here. This path, all this pathing needs a lot of work. I kind of threw it together quickly on the live stream just so we could have this stuff ready and the staff going, but the path needs a lot of work. So that we'll fix that up. And then after that, so I've talked about before, in the heart of Asia, which is over here, the only other animal left that we're going to put in here is the giant panda. And like I said, we're probably going to do it in this corner some way, somehow. We'll get that to work. And then after that, we're going to start working on the African area, which is going to be this entire back half of the zoo. So it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to look super cool. And yeah, our zoo is moving along quite nicely. It's looking really good so far. I love these like views from the sky, like looking down. Just it's coming together really nicely. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. So I'm gonna leave this episode here. Let me know what you guys think of the Arctic area so far. What is your favorite animal that's part of the Arctic pack? But for me, it's a toss-up between the reindeer and the polar bears, but they're all really good. The Arctic wolf, super cool, and the Dall sheep, Also super cool. But like I said, I'm going to leave this episode here, so be sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I am 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.